Yo, what's up, guys? Damnation-n-Hellfire here, and today we got Ross Crow, as always,
Good evening.
and we got Doomsday Rebel.
How's it going, guys?
So, I guess today we're going to talk about some battle pirates, and let's jump right into it. So, let me get some screen sharing going, and we will talk about the targets that did not go live that they said were going to. But hey, it is what it is. I mean, people in chat can correct me if I'm wrong, but I certainly didn't see him anywhere. But these world map assault targets were supposed to be mixed in with our regular titanium targets today. And of course, they were supposed to have the 35, the 55, the 75, and the 95. And they were supposed to pay out 1,800, 6,000, 18,000, and 30,000 titanium. Yeah, they were supposed to spawn along with the older assault style map targets for several weeks following the next raid. However, only these new Draconian Mega Convoy targets will reappear. The older targets will be retired, and the level 68 one is supposed to stay the same. I actually kind of like the level 68 Blitz target because I can just auto that very easily with my mana cores and get an okay amount of titanium for it. So. But yeah, I mean, I didn't see the new map assault targets on the map anywhere over the past 2 days. Like I was out actually farming titanium last night, and I didn't see him anywhere. Did either one of you guys see him anywhere?
Nowhere.
No, I looked for him. And in fact, I've been looking for him for quite some time. I haven't seen any.
Yeah, I especially like the 95 I wanted to hit compared to the similar target in the raid compared damage. To see whether they actually have the damage like they were supposed to, because they said forever ago when these raid targets hit the map as short targets, their damage is going to be cut down in half. And I'll be quite honest, I have yet to see that on any of the targets that have hit the map. But yeah, I mean, I didn't see him anywhere, so I can't really give you any information on him. I looked for him, didn't see him. I can tell you I like the Blitz target because it's easy. And I can auto it and not take a whole lot of damage and get an okay amount of titanium. So, next up, we got Turrets of Terror. Ross, you're covering this one, yeah?
Yeah, the Turrets of Terror campaign, it's a pretty good campaign here. This one here allows you to get some structured tokens. So it began on Tuesday, October 9th, 2 days ago, and then it's going to end on Tuesday, October 16th, both at noon PDT time. This one here is for Garrison. I myself, I used the Inferno Dragons. They just walked right through it without any issues. In Prize Pack 1, you pick up the Glacial Turret and the Radium Reserves. In Prize Pack 2, you're going to go for the Epic Cataclysm Mortar, Fuel Tank D1X, 10-day Epic Cataclysm Mortar build token ×3. So that's just pretty good right there. Prize Pack 3, you're going to get the Adder Strike Turret, the Sulfide Deployer, which is a great special for high splash. You're going to pick up a 4-day Adder Strike build token ×5. And also a 1-day structured token build token ×2. So there's the needed token right there.
Yeah, I was going to say that actually makes this campaign relevant for high-level players again.
Yes.
Everybody's doing structure build stuff right now.
Exactly. And then you're going to pick up Prize Pack 4. You're going to pick up the Omega Pyro rockets and 1-day build structured token ×2 again. So there's 4 tokens right there, structure build tokens that are needed to everyone basically at this point. It's a really good campaign. Like I said, I used the Inferno Dragons. I do believe you could probably get through it with high damage and with the icebreakers, but I think you could do it.
Well, yeah, and I mean, like, unless I'm mistaken, I mean, I didn't actually try it, but I think at least the first couple run throughs, I would imagine that like Zelos as a monolith can probably do. So like, this isn't like base race where you can only use that one fleet. This gives you definitely more options, so that's a great thing.
Yep, this one's a good campaign.
Yeah, I mean the turrets are really good for your low to mid level guys. But like even as you're approaching and past your mid level game, if you don't have the specials, even the specials in here are definitely worth getting. You know, because I still have stuff here and there that I'm using like sulfide deployer and radium reserves on.
In all honesty, for the even for high-end players with the full fleets of Inferno Dragons, yeah, it's worth doing just for the structured build tokens, because the damage is a equivalent to a good deal just for those tokens alone.
Absolutely. Sorry, I got a little yawny there. My bad. Then we also got the Titan Rising campaign. Yes, another campaign for your Mega. We've had this thing like 19 times now or something. So in the prize pack one, of course, you get your concrete rocket modules, your pyro engine, and multiple 6-hour Mega module builder upgrade tokens. You get what, like a total of 36 hours worth there. You get six 6-hour tokens. Yeah. So in prize pack 2, you get the missile strike drone, the drone bridge module, and 6 more 6-hour tokens. And then prize pack 3, you get the exocet missile and 6 more. You only get 3 of them this time. Yeah, you only get 3 6-hour ones this time in that prize pack. And then in the last one, which I've still never been able to do this last prize pack yet. I've kind of almost given up. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. You get the rocket strike drone module, and you get 3 more of the 6-hour Mega module tokens. So I guess things worth noting is when you start a combat, you can go in at the beginning of the encounter, look and see where stuff is coming at you from, and you can retreat and then readjust all your modules and your weapons on your boat to where you think they're going to give you the most benefit, and then go back in and do the target. And you can move your modules and stuff, even and weapons, even when they're damaged. So, you know, that's definitely good stuff there. So it gives you a way to go in and be the best prepared for this encounter that you can.
Yes. I mean, even if you have a really well built thing, if you have everything facing the wrong direction, you take some unneeded damage.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. Anybody else have anything on this? I kind of doubt it. We've had this campaign like 1 billion times now. And then we got Double Trouble.
All right, Double Trouble, it also began October 9th and ends October 16th. It's the co-op campaign where 2 players can enter the target. Personally, myself, I offered in chat for people to help, but nobody took it on, so I just took icebreakers in, and I took a lot of damage, but I was able to complete all 3 runs. The first prize pack, you get the mana core, which will really help with the assault targets that's coming up. So if you can do this campaign, it's really worth doing it. You also get your Savage CIC 1-day mana core build tokens ×3, and your 9,500 VXP tokens. On the second prize pack, you got your Roaring Barrel system. That'll help out if you're going with scatter guns. And then you get more tokens. You got more 3 days of the 1-day. 3 of the 1-day and 3 of the 3-day also. And then you get more VXP, and the one is 47,600, so that's going to tank you up really quick. The prize pack 3, you get your scatter gun, and guess what? More tokens and more VXP. But the thing that kind of sucked for me, I had 4 tokens, so I had to sacrifice 3 of the 3-day tokens on the last run, but I still gained the 9, so it was worth the damage to get the 9 days and lose 3 in the end. But you also get a chest on this one, so I got all the way up to I think I have 4 shards for the Hyper 30, so I was really hoping on the last one I would get another shard, because that was my plan for my Bat Ray build. But unfortunately, I got a missile system shard, so that's where I ended up. No Hyper 30.
Ain't that the way it always is? You only need 1 more shard, and for the love of you can't get the 1 shard that you need.
Yeah.
That's why we love shards so much, guys. That's why we love when you triple down and give us shards of limiteds. Of yeah, we love that stuff. Insert sarcasm.
It's true. There's a lot of planners in the game, and that takes the planning element away.
But this campaign actually really did help me because I came in midway through this through the assault cycle, so I actually only have 2 mana cores built. So this will actually help me get the fleet I need to continue with the chores that's coming up.
Yeah. Chores. We love them. Love them. Give us more chores. Insert sarcasm. I always got to make sure I say that because they might hear it and be like, oh, they actually like chores? Of course, this weekend we got VXP weekend coming up. That starts tomorrow at 9 a.m. kicks time and ends at Sunday at 9 a.m. kicks time. Unidentified raiders are spawning throughout the weekend. Savage and elite targets will not have increase in payouts. That has been per usual the way it's been going. And the level 100 targets will only spawn for the first 36 hours. Bug fixes. Upgrading a row level 4 walls charges incorrect gold amount. So apparently they fixed that for all those people who coined their walls. If you're coining your walls, dude, you need to go to BP rehab. That's all I have to say about that. Closed double trouble exploit that allowed for campaign completions beyond the set limit. So I guess there was people were able to just keep doing double trouble, I guess. So they fixed that. And they did general bug fixes and performance improvements. I really wish they would expound upon those sometimes.
They were too general.
Yeah. Also, there was a thing that came up yesterday, I guess it was, that healthy ships would start damaged at the beginning of the battle, and they put a fix out for that. Like, I guess it was only out for like what that looks like about 4 hours that was going on. So yeah, they fixed that rather speedily, and in the land of gaming, that's 4 hours is rather speedily. Let's talk about the October weekly raid. Sorry, Forsaken Mission. Yeah. So they changed the little bit of change in the 120 and the 121s. They actually now have shards for the Gathering Storm and the Nailhead rockets too. Let's see. The new prizes that were out were the Lightning Strike Gatling gun for the exclusively for the Brennus Bat Ray. They were 2.5 million apiece, and you could claim up to 2 of them. And they had the Keen Edge rocket launcher for the Occam's Razor Tail, and they were also 2.5 million, and you could claim up to 2 of them. The new Zithanite armor D6CT was 2 million points, and you could claim 1. And the hydrofoil plating was 2 million points, and you could claim 1 and have as many as you want because that was not limited. That's the only non-limited thing out of the new FM prizes, huh?
Yes.
Yep.
And not just limited, a double limited.
Right. So there are a few prizes that are only available this week. You have the Warden that's in there for 1.5 million. You can claim that up to 3 times. Actually, that's a pretty good deal on the Warden, I have to say.
Yeah.
The Night Watch countermeasure, which costs more than the Warden at 2.4 million. But at least you only have to claim it 1 time. You get as many as you want. And then the CMXM reloader at 1.6 million. And there again, you can only have to claim it once, and you can use as many as you want. But it is kind of interesting that both of those prizes actually cost more than the Warden that does itself. That's interesting. Like okie dokie. So let's talk a little bit about the Lightning Strike Gatling gun.
All right, this one's exclusive for the Brennus Bat Ray, and it's actually limited also. So you can only not only can you claim 2 per week, but you can only put 2 on 1 hull. But it is a very, very powerful weapon. It does do concussive damage at 750 tons, just like the light. I mean sorry, I forget the name of it. Anyway,
Gathering Storm.
Gathering Storm. So much lightning and thunder and storms and ripsaw down. Anyway, It's got a good projectile speed of 750. The splash is 16. Spread is 15, I believe. Let's see. Let me put this around. The range is 93, and the damage is actually a whopping 150,000 with 6 salvos. So what is that? Like 25,000 a salvo. So that's putting out some very serious
Yeah,
damage.
that makes me scared for what kind of targets we're gonna see next raid.
Yeah, yeah, because that's serious, man. That's a big number, for a raid especially, and a 1 second reload time. So, plus it builds up. So I mean, this thing's going to chunk some serious lead out.
Yeah.
Your submerged damage is the same. Wall damage is irrelevant, pretty much. You get the defense buff for explosive and concussive at 50%, and then the wind up for 4 seconds, and you have a decay time if you stop firing, but you go from 60,000 to 150,000. So that's a pretty serious weapon.
For sure, for sure. And honestly, I think when you add two of these on, along with the defensive auras that you get from all the hulls and the defenses that the hull starts out with, you could literally run like no armor on your Brennus and probably no damage special on your Brennus. Yep. Either, well, as far as damage defense special, and actually be totally fine that way.
Yeah, actually, I think you can, for real.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of crazy, huh?
It is. Which my normal bat rate.
And I will say too, that's in theory. I don't know that I would necessarily go that route, because you never know what kicks might do that. Oh, guess what? I did need that 0.01 extra percent that damage resistance special gave me. Because I'm like, I never bank on, hey, I don't need to do this. You know?
Yeah, always be ready to adapt. That's for sure, if you can. That's what I had to do with the last raid. I used those tokens to slowly build up, but I noticed once I got to a certain point, like even if I was down one armor slot, I was still taking relatively about the same damage as the full armor was. And, maybe it was just the way I was driving or just getting lucky or whatever, but it seemed the resistances seemed to not matter, seemed to outweigh the amount of armor points pretty much. So as long as you had them high, they kind of worked okay.
Something that was odd though, and we talked about this a little bit during the roundtable on Saturday, but I want to touch on it again. How it was weird that, like, if you would run a demo squad, you wouldn't see the difference from the damage resistances from that at all, because your damage resistances were already so high. But like everybody I spoke to said they could tell the difference with the damage resistance for grease monkeys when you would use those. So I thought that was kind of odd.
And it's exactly the same resistance, right?
No, actually, the grease monkey, in order to get up that high, you actually have to take damage before your resistances start to get up higher.
Okay, but if it maxes out, when
it maxes out, they're exactly the same. Yeah.
Right. So they shouldn't see it if they don't see it on the other.
Yeah. Yes, I just thought that was rather interesting and odd. That's all.
No, I agree. I was having the same issues with a couple other crews that I noticed I could see a little difference in performance, and then it was odd.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was very odd, because I know some people are saying, "Oh, you don't have to run resistance specials at all," but yet they were then in turn turning around and running steelheads on their fleet, and I'm like, well, if you don't need the resistance special, why would you need a resistance crew? That didn't make any sense to me. But
what I ended up doing, because I was taking the same damage across the board on all 5 ships in the 100s, but my lead ship was taking all the damage in the 102s with slight damage to the rest. So I put a Agility System 4 on it and some the DVE, the new Evade armors or whatever they are.
Right.
And, dude, that really helped out. And then when I started putting the Gathering Storms on, my repairs went from like 57 minutes to like 22 minutes. The more I done it, the more I drove, the better I got with them. And I was taking way less damage, so I was like, all right, Evade's going to work. So maybe they had this in mind, you know, with the new flagships and the new armors coming out to give us a little bit of option. But I'm already at a point now where I can't go back. I can just kind of keep my speed where I'm at. You know, I know the Hyper 30 fleets are going to be better, but that's days that I've already put in that I'm not going to go back and fix.
Yeah. Well, and like, I do want to talk a little bit too about, like, I swear to God, didn't they tell us that we weren't going to do escalation weapons anymore? And like, dude, if this ain't an escalation weapon, I don't know what is. You know.
Well, I was going to mention that. I was wanting to actually mention that because they truly did say that, though. Correct? I mean,
oh, they definitely said that. That we didn't all have a group hallucination. They definitely said we were getting away from escalation weapons and we weren't going to see them anymore.
Okay, because these are just 100% clearly escalation weapons, and in fact, an escalation armor even. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So they doubled down on it. They didn't just do the weapons; they added armor.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and granted, yes, you only have to do 2 weapon slots on one boat to put these on. That, you know, but at this point in time, okay, you've already cut the raid cycle down to 3 months. Now you're giving us, you know, like, and like, God, the build time, I don't even want to get into the build time with the flagship. You know, that was like literally out of the gate 3 days more than what I thought it should have been. You know, with a 9-day build time naked, I was looking more towards a 6-day build time, you know, comparatively to what we've had in the past couple. But like, you know, all that aside, it's like, okay, so we now only have 3 months to get our regular 4 boats done, get the flag done, and now you want us to refit armors and weapons on this stuff on top of that, all within a 3-month cycle. I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah.
It's like, and I tell you who I feel bad for. I feel really bad for is the people who, when they got their apprentice or got their Occams, you know, went ahead and coined them, you know, with what we had available right then and there, and now they got to go back and, like, you know, put these new weapons on them. Like, boy, I'd feel kicked in the fucking balls if I did that.
There's several that are out there like that, not just a few. I mean, there are, and it's like a kick in the teeth. I got a couple in my alliance that they were trying to be, you know, on one step ahead of the game. They took advantage of the store deals in the top left of their screen at certain times and stocked up on tokens, and then did use them accordingly. So they didn't coin it straight out, the one I'm thinking of, but so they did coin it with the special offers. However, now and these just don't go on in 4 hours, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then it's a redo. And man.
Yeah, I mean, in reality, what should have happened if the 2 flagships were designed to get the most benefit and be at their best with these weapons, then these weapons should have came out at the same time that the flagship did. Pure and simple.
Right.
For sure.
You know, that way people wouldn't be all pissed off now that, hey, I got to refit these 2 weapons to these 2 new things. Like, if two things go together, here's a novel concept. If 2 things go together, bring them out at the same freaking time. You know, I mean, like, I know that goes away totally from historical thinking, but Jesus Christ, man. You know, 7 years, you think you get this shit right, you know?
Well, you think, you know, the people that are willing to coin, if they were going to do it, if they had all the pieces, they're going to freaking spend it anyway. Then there's going to be a certain percentage that's like, damn, I got to go back and do this, and they might. And then the other ones are going to be just like, well, I'll just slow do it or I won't. You know?
Yeah.
So it seems like it'd be a higher percentage if you got the peanut butter and jelly sitting right in front of them, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. It's crazy. But hey, what do we know? You only have a bachelor in game design, right? What do you know?
Yeah.
And then we got the Keen Edge rockets. Go, Ross.
All right, these are the Legion Tech. They go on the Ocam Razor Tail, just like the last weapon to go in on the Bat Ray.
Wait. Can you say that name one more time?
Ocam's Razor Tail?
Repeat after me. Occam's.
Occam.
Yeah.
Okay, Occam Razor Tail. Tier 7. It is a rocket, and the damage type is explosive. This one's heavy at 805 tons. Projectile speed is fast at 750, splash 17, spread 100, range 68. All this is pretty standard. Now here's where it goes. The damage, 120,000 with a salvo of 4 and a reload time of 1. Huge damage, just huge.
Oh yeah, that's 30,000 damage per projectile.
Yeah, which is it's just massive. I mean, really is. So, and submerged damage is 96,000, wall damage 9,000, building 9's kind of irrelevant. But these also give you the same as the last weapon, the defense bonus of 50% and concussive bonus of 50% for each weapon you add. So these are really these are a big benefit to the one hull you can put them on. So they are limited, and when you read that the hulls for that, it does mean that this is limited to only one hull. So it's a limited weapon, limited to a hull also.
Yep, and limited to you can only put 2 on that hull. So yeah, just limits upon limits upon limits. Because our box that we play in isn't quite small enough yet, you know.
Right. So but it's just such a big figure that it's just and everybody when people first look at it, you're like, okay, a good deal. My fleet's going to do some damage, and then I think to myself, whoa, why do I need that much damage? What are we going to be looking at?
Yeah, that's what's scaring the bejesus out of me right now. It's like, my God, if we're getting this much of a damage buff on the flagships, what in the hell are we going to be looking at next grade as far as damage out, like amount of damage to kill targets? It's like, ooh, scary.
And why is there a need for wall damage and building damage? I mean, is the Proto-Nims going to be carrying turrets now, or what? I mean, what the heck?
Yeah, right. I guess. Yeah, that really doesn't make any sense, because a lot of times it used to be like, you could put them on. It's like, okay, you might want to mix a couple assault style rockets in on your fleet that's hitting a base, to help take out the guard quicker. But yeah, like literally with this only being able to go onto the Occam's razor tail, it doesn't make a lot of sense unless they are going to change the SSRBs to where razor tails can actually hit the target.
There you go.
That would be the only thing that would make that make sense.
And so there's still 2 other sides.
But even so, there's no turrets in that aspect of it, is there? Yeah, well, I can't remember, because I haven't done that very many SSRBs with my protos. Is there turrets in there or no? I can't remember.
I've never done the siege side. I've actually just done the uranium skirmish
side.
Well,
yeah, this would be for the uranium skirmish side. And I couldn't remember if there was a little cluster of turrets in there or not.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think there's just that gate at the end that you got to kill.
Yeah, just a gate.
Yeah. So, yeah, I have no idea then why it has wall and building damage. Who knows? But, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. As we should have got this at the same time we got the Occams. So yeah, I don't know why we can't. Make too much sense. And then we got the escalation armor, the Zetonite B6 CT, which you can only claim 1 of every week in the FM. So I'll go through a whole month of FMs and still not be able to get quite 1 hull done, because we only have 3 FMs between raids.
Yep.
So yeah, I can't even apply 1 full hull. I can't even get 1 piece across all of my fleet, but whatever. This is the one that gives you the 30% to the concussive, and it's 1 second repair duration, just like the one that we had already for missiles and corrosive. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward, self-explanatory armor. And then you have the hydrofoil plating. This is the one, the only limited new thing in the FM, or non-limited new thing in the FM this week. So yeah, it gives you 2,250 armor points, 489 tons. It gives you a 12% evade bonus and 9% to explosive and concussive both. And it gives you a extra 22 minutes and 30 seconds repair on your hull. So, I mean, it's kind of interesting, I guess, maybe. I know a lot of people are really starting to look at evade. But honestly, with what we're seeing as far as your resistance numbers and stuff, you could probably actually just, if evade was the way you're wanting to go, you could probably just go pure evade almost.
Yeah.
Right. I was going to ask, what are you going to use this for here?
Well, I think coming up here when we get to Travis's Brennus builds he wants to talk about, I think he's used it in a couple places there, and he can go a little bit more in depth there when we get there.
Good deal. Good deal.
I'm just going to go over the art showcase a little bit. I think it's always neat to see how the 3D concepts go to the 2D concepts go to the 3D final stuff. So that gives you a look at the oh shit, which one's this? This is the Occam's razor tail, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So it gives you a little bit of an idea what the concept looked like, and then how it looked when they got to 3D. And then oops. Yeah, I did that right. Then we have the Aftermath turret and the Brennus bat ray. And then the Wave Rider warheads, and I'm guessing, which Gatling gun is that? I don't know. I've lost. We got 3 of them now. I'm not sure which one that is.
That's the Gathering Storm.
Okay, thank you. It's like, dude, there's so many of them now, I can't keep track anymore. It's like within like not even a month's time, we have 3 different Gatling guns. It's like, good God. Sector consolidation info. We were supposed to get that this week, but that's been delayed while the team is continuing to confer on a timeline for this feature release. And so they say we're not quite sure when we're going to do it, so we're going to hold off exactly on when we're going to do it. I'll tell you stuff about it. So next thing, Ross, you got a sloth build that you put up for your little thing this week, so let's talk about that.
And sure, I'd like to go over. Last week I went over the lead bus for this, and then I wanted to start going over some options on a sloth. So this one we're going to start out with. I wanted to go. I find it good to mix. If you're using a spotter and some sloths, it's good to mix, not have them all the same weapon. So there's an example of using a high splash and a high building damage sloth. Now on this one, it's the D, I guess 85 is the mortar I used on it. Now this is going to be the highest splash mortar out, unless you have your Pandemonium retroed to 15. If you do, the Pandemonium will splash go higher than this mortar. But for those people, everybody that has everything R15, they probably know how to build their own things. So this, if you're still up and coming and things, this is a good, strong mortar to build. I suggest it. And then I went with for the specials on here. Let's see. It looks like I'm using. I can start from the right hand side, I guess. I got Speed System of 5 just from an engine. It's just I've had it for some time, so that's just what I had on there. And then I used it looks like I'm trying to load my game here at the same time, because
looks like Canon System 4 is the next thing.
It is Canon System 4. I'm sorry, I just don't know can't see the numbers because my old eyes. But and the reason I use Canon System 4, I know it's not a mortar special. However, it does carry a splash bonus that will stack with things that when others will not, because I use the certain. Just mini specials will not stack.
Yeah, well, I think high explosive shells 4 is where you run into the stacking problem, because like literally nothing wants to stack with high explosive shells 3 or 4 rather that has splash, and like Cannon System is the only thing that will.
Exactly right. And then I did also add the splash upgrade, so that's another 12%. So the high explosive shells is going to get you a splash of 163%. And then the splash upgrade grabs you another 12, and the Cannon System picks you up another 35. So that really brings you up to 310% splash. That's a great amount of splash. Now, when you're working with splash, you can't just have splash. You're going to have building damage, or it's useless, basically. So at that token, I added garrison battery on to get my explosive damage, building, and wall damage up, and that's both up 65%. And then I also added siege targeting 4 to it to get the building damage up even higher with an additional 165% building damage. And that ends it up at 336% building damage. This is a 7 or, right at 7 to 8 tile splash range. It's a pretty big one when you add a splash crew. It's just amazing.
Yeah, of course, like as we talked about last time when you did the Brennus, like, obviously this is an old build that you've been having, that you've had sitting around for a while. So when it gets to the armor point, your players are going to want to tweak that a little bit as far as, against what's out currently in the game.
Right. But I got to tell you, I still use these, and they get you by. It's all in the driving on the sloths in the first place. The armor gets you it saves you on those entry lags before you can turn, and that's really where I find it just to be needed for myself.
Well, it'll really help. Our armor choices will really help you too against those people that have priority targeting on their really long range turrets. That's where I would think you would see the most benefit out of popping some different armor types on there. Because I know in my base, for example, my axioms, like I have, I don't know, I think 6 axioms in my base, and I think 3 of them have the priority targeting on them. So like, when you bring your sloths up around the back to get to my OP, they're going to be peppering your sloths because, obviously they have the lowest amount of health out of anything else that's going to be in your fleet. So yeah, that's where that armor will come in handy.
That's basically it. But like I said, I don't build 3 of these all the same. You want to actually throw in a couple different mortar types to throw off people's counters. That's what I have best luck with, and I really find that most people who have success throw a couple oddballs.
Cool. And now we'll go into Travis's 19,000 builds that he had me make slides for. So take away, Travis.
All right. The main difference in my thought process on creating my own Brennus is I do not have Hyper 30, like I said earlier. And I know a lot of people are going to run with that. They're going to be able to add an engine, and actually get them up to 71 miles per hour. My bat ray fleet done well, so I'm just going to stick to the 60 or 56 mile an hour that I have. And then my thought process is what's more crucial here: evade, resistance, or actual repair time. Now, if you notice, with no armor, you have a 3-hour repair time, and you can still get your resistances up really high, and that may do okay. I don't know if it's worth trying, but if you're in a position where that's as far as you got with your build, run with it and see how it goes. The next deal is when you start adding the new armors, like the new CT armors, which only has a 1-second build. That's going to give you your most fully armored ship with the lowest repair time possible. Because I'm assuming, I'm not for sure, were there, how charged armor is, you could only put 2. Just in my head, I just thought, well, you can probably only put 2 of these since they're limited. I have not checked, so I'm not for sure, but that's where I came up with 2 here. But so what I'm running here is 2 of the new Lightning Strike Gatling guns. I'm going to run a few of the Ripsaws, and then I'm going to put 2 or possibly 3 of the new Gathering Storm on. And that's going to get me around, 2,128,000. I got some different numbers, 2,400,000. But the main thing is, if you look at the different numbers, and I tried to highlight, the pros and cons of each. The red's going to be reduced, and green's going to be buffed, of course. But you'll see some of the specials I got on here, and one of them I'm actually going to take off and actually put combustion system 2 on in place. That's, I mean, is that what they are? The one that above.
The ones we're looking at right now is explosive system 4. But yeah, I think one of the very last one you sent me, the one you're actually going with, does have combustion 2 on it.
Yeah. So here on this one, stay here on that one. You don't mind? You can go to the next one.
Okay. Yeah, I would
All
say
right.
you just kind of tell me when to flip because you
Yeah.
know what's going on here.
All right, so the hydrofoils, they have 22 minutes each. So that if you put 2 of them on, that's going to bump you up to 4 hours and 30 minutes. Now the real question is, as you see, was trying to get as much evade as possible. Now, is having higher evade more beneficial than having less repair off the top? That's something I don't know. I would honestly have to test. But in theory, if you can get away with the CT armors, I think that's going to be the best bet overall. But my plan, you'll see here in the end, is one of each just to be safe. But here on the explosive system 4, it reduces your spread, so it's twofold. You're either going to kill the ships on surface faster and have a lot of trouble with the Nighthawks because they're moving and such a quick rate, and then the Gatling guns actually have splash fall off at 25%, if I do believe. So the faster that ship's going, the less you're actually doing damage to it. So I find that if I can trap it, make it do a tight turn and slow down, that's when I do my most damage. All right, so go to the next one.
And I guess another thing that's going to come in important too is the new art that you have and finding out how fast that takes down the Nighthawks and their health to find out how important that splash fall off is or is not going to be.
Mm-hmm. And see, that's another reason why I decided not to try and make it any faster, is because to me, I've already got my driving style down. So I know where that circle is going to be naturally. So I'm just going to stick with what I know. But I decided to lose the explosive system and go with combustion system just because I get a buff on the projectile speed. Then I'll increase my spread to 20%, which will help when the Nighthawks are actually getting in the wider circle and getting a little faster on you. And then I got the splash up to 98%. And by using the ablative armor, and it may not even be necessary, this may be completely useless. I'm just getting 100 deflection. But what I do not know is that deflection per salvo or per volley, or because if there's a ship shooting 10 salvo at you, that's 1,000.
Yeah, it should be deflection per projectile.
Yeah, so that's what I thought. So, even though it looks like a low number, with all the salvo that's coming at us, in the end, that adds up quite a bit. And I got my explosives defense up to 100%. And I took off the skirmish battery, which has, the splash reduction. But here's my thought process: is if I'm stacked, most of those shells are going to have spread anyway. And the point of impact is where it's basically an AOE, area of effect damage, is going to be the most punishing part. And then if it has a fall off, it's going to be, less as it goes on. But the way those scatter guns come out, they're always hitting you in the back. And all my ships, pretty much had equal damage. So to me, the splash reduction wasn't as crucial on some of my ships that actually did not have it at the time, because I was still building all the way through the raid. So I noticed, making small tweaks didn't really affect as much as I thought it would, or had greater impact. But the point being, I believe I can take this ship with a high evade, pretty decent repair time, and good splash, and do a lot of damage with it. And this is just, the stuff I have or the stuff I can get this week. So, the Hyper 30 is out of question. So I had to come up with the next best option. And the only thing I see wrong here is the resistor. It will actually be a concussive resistor to bump up the concussive. That'll give me, actually, it won't even move it. It'll still be 98.
Yeah, but then when I was gonna say that when you start factoring in all your auras and all that stuff, yeah, then you might end up being at 100 on that too.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that nowadays in the game we can actually get that defense number up to 100% on the in-game shipyard, because I remember that was used to at one point in time, but that was totally impossible to do.
Yeah. And to me, in the raid, I felt like the torpedoes were giving me the most damage, and I was, the explosive was okay. It was definitely dealing damage across the board, but I don't feel like if we were in formations, kind of like how they do Vega Conflict, then the splash reduction would be huge. I mean, it would actually be huge, but where we're stacked, just the spread is the only thing that we really have to worry about, because, and it's not really that big. You can't really escape it regardless. I mean, so it's either going to fall off or it's not. So the reduction from the point of impact is kind of, to me, not that useful if I'm moving all the time. And I try to move away when I can or rush right on them when I can. So I think this will work for me, with what I got. I really do.
Well, and that's what it all comes down to at the end. You gotta go and you gotta build with what you think is gonna work for you.
Yeah.
Because if I can give people my builds all day long, but if it doesn't fit their play style, it does them no good.
Yeah.
So that's why I usually try to say, this is my build, and I built this for autoing. That way, okay, I don't have to do anything fancy with this. I can just go in and I can just, click the target, maybe stack at the beginning if I want to, and then just go,
And see, with like bat rays, like I noticed if I took more damage if I stayed out in open water, because the where I had like, maybe like a 56 or whatever speed, or I can't remember what it is, but it those Nighthawks are quick, so you can actually get in and circle them a few times, but there would be a couple times where they would fan out, and if you didn't cut immediately 180 and go the opposite way, they would sit there and volley you over and over. So I would bounce out of their firing range and let them circle around, and I would head right back in on them. And that way I was only taking 2 volleys, one on exit and one on entry. So I know I can mitigate that damage by the way I drive. So.
Well, yeah, and I know one thing I noticed too, for the bat ray users, it seemed like projectile speed was incredibly important for them.
Yes, because if they're moving, you're doing less damage. If you can corner them where they slow, and you're just pounding right on top of them, you can watch it go down way faster.
Well, and I think what was the limited one that actually came out during the raid? That was lightning or
Gathering Storm.
Gathering Storm. Now, did that affect projectile speed, or was that just reload, or what did that one affect? I forget. Or was that splash?
It had a better splash. It went up to 18. So and that actually helped a lot. I put 4 on, and then I still have 2 left, and I might have to take one of them off because I really don't need that other hull. So I'm just going to use it as a backup. It'll be repairing while, I'm running the other one. So I think I'm just going to take the Gathering Storm off of it and put it on here. So.
Cool. I'll just throw this out real quick now. Guys in chat, if you have any questions, now would be a good time to ask them, because we're probably going to be wrapping up here before too long. Wow, we actually covered a lot of slides and did it fairly rapidly this time. I'm impressed with us.
There was a lot of content released, but there was not a lot of explaining to do, in all honesty. I mean, the campaigns we have are relatively simple to cover and type of things. Nothing new really in the campaign book.
Yeah, we couldn't talk about the new map targets because I never found any.
Right.
Couldn't talk about the information on sector consolidation because that got delayed.
Right. Oh, we could mention the upcoming ranking weekend. That the 100 targets are going to be on the map the whole time, I guess.
No, 36 hours like they always are. I think originally they had posted that they were only going to be there for 24 hours, but it's actually always 36 hours because it goes from 9 a.m. kicks time on the Friday morning to 9 p.m. Saturday night kicks time.
Okay, so their correction thing was just a correction of their short time.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I know Dynamite over in the chat saying how about Hyper 30 on bats, but like as Travis was saying, he doesn't have Hyper 30, so he was giving people options for people who don't have Hyper 30.
Right, and if you did, you just would pull the agility and
Yes.
put that in its place, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So it'd be exactly the same except
too.
for agility, right?
Yeah. And you could probably even take off the ablative armor there, and then maybe even maybe even add one of the tactical or shielded circuitry, or maybe just something like that. I may not even need that. I seen 100 and I was like, oh, that's cool. I mean, I've never got anything up to 100. I got to build it. I mean, shit.
I know David Subtle there is in chat saying he thought about making the Brennus an anti-ship. I honestly, I don't know about that, dude. Because you're going to be losing out a whole lot of DPS if you do that.
Right. On the other
extra buffs. It has the extra buffs. Plus, you got these two big, huge honking weapons that you can put specifically only on the Brennus. I don't know that making the Brennus a countermeasure ship is probably your best way to go there.
No.
Yeah, I would agree. I would actually say if you were wanting to go that route, just to use a regular bat ray and build it up as an anti and add it to your fleet, because you will get added bonuses just from a 5th ship. But the Brianna will give you the explosive damage buffs that are really going to be wanted with that hull. So I would actually not make that an anti hull.
Yeah.
And I'll be totally honest, and of course this is from a Razortail driver's perspective, but I didn't really care about ice fields at all. I literally did not care about them. The main reason I even still have Gales on my fleet is more to give me that extra explosive defense than I am caring about shooting shit down. Because they didn't slow me down that much, because I was going pretty good clip anyway, and then I had Hyper 30 on top of that, which makes me go even faster. And generally when I was getting hit by those, movement wasn't really a problem anyway. So yeah, I didn't really care about the cryo fields whatsoever.
Yeah, and I could get around them easy, and some of my hulls actually had maybe a Gale 3, or some of them maybe had Gale 2s. And it was enough to get around what I needed. And then the torpedoes were no problem at all with the aura that the bat ray has.
Well, yeah, that's another thing I was going to say. As a Razortail user, I was always getting hit by cryos anyway because I couldn't deal with the torpedoes. So I'm just like, well, yeah, I don't really care about shooting down the mortars. But they are nice because those Gale 3s do give you some explosive defense. So.
The only thing I guess it might be beneficial is it might help you finish a target faster, just not slowing down maybe. I don't know. But I mean, with the points payout, unless you're in a race for the lead, I don't think it's going to matter. To lead or junkie. So
yeah, I mean, the story I'm taking from the FM this week is release the weapons at the same time as the hull, and then you won't have people be pissed off. And don't give us a limit of only being able to claim 1 limited armor per week when you're only going to be able to get 3 in between the one raid and the next raid. Because that's just silly. I can't even, like I said, I can't either A, do 1 fleet with all the new the D6 CT or whatever, or I can't put 1 panel on each one of my boats. I'm just not getting enough of it to be able to do any of those things. It just doesn't make a lot of sense unless next week they're going to up it to you can claim 2, and then the week after that you can claim 2 more, because then you could get 1 panel on each one of your boats. Then at that point, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be up, because it's just with 3 raid cycles, you know, and I guess kind of being a 4th if they have like, you know, the smaller targets, kind of like they did the blitz targets this time. So you'd potentially get like 4 months worth, I'm assuming, out of your fleet if you really wanted to, and if you didn't get to build the next fleet for the next cycle. Um, but it's like, you know, by the time I get all my parts to complete like the perfect fleet that I really wish I had, the cycle's over. So I'm like,
Yeah, I
I'll
know,
just build
right?
what I can get through, and then I'll get back to my chore fleets and trying to build a FM fleet and, you know, base parts fleet and PvP and all that. I'll just scrape the raid by as best as I can, you know, with what I can do.
So, and I'm gonna bring this up and harp on this again. I'm gonna harp on this actually until they change it. I have to say, as somebody who built Razor Tails, I am still feeling definitely penalized for not having built Bat Rays because I cannot fucking hit SSRBs with my goddamn Razor Tails. And that
Yeah,
pisses me off to no fucking end. If you're going to tell me it doesn't matter which hull that I'm going to choose, that has to be true across all aspects of the fucking game, not just in the current and little box that we're in, but it has to be true across the entire game.
yeah.
And I definitely feel like I've been penalized for choosing to build Razor Tails.
And my dude, I know for a fact that's a stat fix in the code that can be duplicated and changed to where they can, you know, add in the explosive damage, because basically what it is, the razor tails can't really kill anything, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
So here's a simple fix: explosive bypass. Write the freaking code in there. It's You can do it in like 10 minutes, man. I know it. It may not work. You may need a day to sort it out, but you really know where that's at. It's you know, they can do a bypass there. It would make the razor tails work.
Yeah, it's just a matter of getting off your duff and doing it.
Yeah.
And there we go.
Maybe they just can't find it in the code anymore. I don't know.
Well, it's not like the SSRBs have been out like, you know, for 12 years or 7 years or 5 years or whatever. They were only came out what, like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So if you can't find the code from 6 months ago, then your code is way more spaghetti duct tape and cardboard than what we thought it was. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, so yeah, I'm going to continue to bring that up every single week until they fix that. So get used to hearing it, guys. That's all I'm saying. All right. I was going to say, I don't see anything else from chat, and I think we're done. So yeah, that'll be it. Thanks for coming out, guys. Always appreciate you. Give us a like, a subscribe, share us with your friends, and if your friends aren't already on the page, send them on over. And we will talk to you guys Saturday. I'm sure we'll throw something together for an open mic / roundtable / no quarter. So be looking for that. It'll be 7 o'clock Eastern time on Saturday. And we will talk to you guys then. Have a great night.
Have a good one.
Good night.